Black America, a guide to reclaiming our image. Authored by Dr. Lynn, PhD, and prolific Chris Henry.
Preface. The idea that Black people are the original Israelites is rooted in the historical and theological narrative often explored within certain religious and cultural movements, including the Hebrew Israelite community. These movements assert that many descendants of the transatlantic slave trade are linked to ancient Israelites described in the Bible. Here is a foundational story that outlines this perspective. This is the story of a lost identity. The origins, Abraham's covenant, foundation. In the Bible, God makes a covenant with Abraham, promising that his descendants would be as numerous as the stars and would inherit the land of Canaan, Genesis 15:5-7. Abraham's lineage, through Isaac and Jacob, later named Israel, becomes the chosen people, Israelites, tasked with living by God's commandments and serving as a light to other nations. The Exodus and Covenant at Sinai. The Israelite story continues with their enslavement in Egypt and eventual liberation under Moses. At Mount Sinai, they receive the Torah, which outlines their unique role as God's chosen people. Exodus 19:5-6. Central to this covenant is the warning that disobedience would lead to exile, oppression, and suffering. Deuteronomy 28. A prophetic warning. Deuteronomy 28 is often cited as key text. It describes blessings for obedience and curses for disobedience. Verses 15-68 detail conditions of exile, poverty, slavery, and scattering among nations, which many interpret as paralleling the experiences of African descendants during the transatlantic slave trade. For instance, Deuteronomy 28:68. The Lord will send you back in ships to Egypt on a journey I said you will never make again. There you will offer yourselves for sale to your enemies as male and female slaves, but no one will buy you. A shift from religion to history. Global history. Some interpret Egypt metaphorically as a place of bondage, according to biblical scriptures aligning it with the enslavement of Africans in the Americas. Dispersion and loss of identity. As the Israelites are scattered due to disobedience, they lost their identity. Movements within the African diaspora suggest that the transatlantic slave trade fulfilled the prophecy, as millions of Africans were forcibly taken from their homelands, stripped of their languages, cultures, and spiritual practices. Rediscovery of heritage. In the late 19th and 20th centuries, groups within the African diaspora began to explore connections between biblical Israel and African people. They argue that the cultural, linguistic, and spiritual similarities between African traditions and ancient Semitic practices pointed to a shared ancestry. Key claims include the presence of Hebraic customs among West African tribes, such as the Igbo, Yoruba, and Ashanti. Genetic and archaeological evidence linking African groups to the ancient Near East. Biblical description of Israelites' appearance, which some interpret as matching the phenotypes of Africans. A call to return. Movements like the Hebrew Israelites teach that understanding this heritage is a call to spiritual and cultural revival. They emphasize returning to the commandments of the Torah, reuniting the scattered descendants and reclaiming a sense of divine purpose. Cultural and theological significance. For many in the African diaspora, this narrative serves as a source of empowerment. It reframes the suffering of slaves and colonization as part of divine plan for eventual restoration. It also encourages individuals to embrace their identity, heritage, and spiritual destiny. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.